The Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick. The Axis powers have won the war. Nazis have taken over the east part of the United States, made it into the German Reich. The Japanese have taken over the west part of the United States and made them into the Pacific states of America. And then there's the neutral Rocky Mountain states in the middle, it's like a buffer zone. Adolf Hitler is still alive and still controlling things, and there's suspicions of war happening between the two because Germany is the stronger one and Japan's the weaker one, and it's only a matter of time before war breaks out and Germany goes for taking over the entire world. I knew this was the background of the book before reading it, but it ended up being something very different. I was picturing something like rebellion, like the US is in Vichy government in France. You know, it has to overcome the oppressors that have destroyed American liberties. But the political situation actually ended up being in the background of the story, and the foreground was more about art dealers and jewelry and various stories told through characters that were loosely connected to each other. It was almost like a series of short stories as you kind of jump around from character to character. But it wasn't a suspenseful book. And I think this goes to show how differently books were written back in 1962 when this book came out. This book is more about the cultural, interesting situations and side notes that come up in this theoretical world that Philip K. Dick invented. And I will say the world building is really cool. He comes up with a lot of interesting details and things to think about. So this brings me to the TV show. And I've only seen the first season, but it's much more of what I would have expected knowing the background of the book. You have someone who wanted to make an adaptation of The Man in the High Castle and decided to do 1984 because you have the main characters who are paranoid of being spied on. There's suspense. You don't know when the police are going to show up and take away one of the characters. The show is much more in line with that, which tells you more of what this book would be if it were written in modern times. Still, I really enjoyed the book, especially the parts with the I Ching. I think he has interesting philosophy that he ties into it, especially when you get to the ambiguous ending of the book when the main character talks to the man in the high castle. I won't spoil anything, but it's an interesting thing to think about. I would recommend the book as long as you go into it with the right expectations. And if you're looking for something more contemporary, then see the show. It's also very good. I give it 4 stars.